everyone and welcome back to another edition of Rich T Racing. Now in this edition, given the fact that in just a few days time I'm going to be going to Shenington Park for the first round of the Club 100 E60 Championship and the first proper Club 100 race since the coronavirus pandemic kicked in. This is a track, Shenington, that I have never been to before. So I thought, as a way to sort of show, give some top tips for karting, as is sort of in the title of this video, and is also in the title of our most viewed video ever as of last week. One of the top tips in there is that before you go to a new track, make sure you learn it through, whether that be onboard footage or looking at pictures. Anything like that can be massively beneficial to helping you when going to a new track. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to sort of show you how I do that, what I look at. I'm going to be looking at some footage from Suze from a couple of years ago. That's Susanna Gutsold, who's obviously a member of Rich T Racing. Finally, we'll round it off with a little bit of Super GT footage, because obviously that is Club 100. So, but before we do any of that, let's actually have a look at this track from a bird's eye view. So this is a bird's eye view of Shenington Park. It's not the greatest photo ever, but we work with what we've got. So let's have a look here. So you can see the start finish straight is here. Actually, can we zoom in? Yeah, we can. Look at that. We can zoom in. How wonderful. So yeah, so we've got the start finish straight down here. So it's sort of a slightly curved straight, then comes into a long left-hander that immediately switches into a sort of right-hand hairpin, so to speak. Then long straight, two hairpins. We'll see which one of these hairpins use. I'd like to think we're going to be using this one. If we're using that one, in fact, no matter what, I'm going to be a bit screwed there, because basically I'm a heavier driver and long straights equal less fun for heavy drivers. Although the weight limit for the Club 100 race is 85 kilos. I'm about 95, just a little bit less. So I'm not going to be as screwed, but I'm still going to be pretty screwed. Anyway, so hairpin looks simple. Depends on runoff. Then another long straight, again, bit screwed. Little bit of that's a little bit like Lid. If you know the Lid track, it's got a number of corners like this one. Bit of a switchback. That should be flat. Another long straight. That's a lot of straights for one track, especially a karting track, which are they're normally quite tight and twisty. This one's obviously very open. I'm going to be in trouble here. Then into, what's that? That'll be a right-hander. Then coming down here into just dipping down. That's going to be an interesting little braking zone. Another hairpin, run it out, and then across the line. So what we're looking at here, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're looking about 10 corners. That's not a lot for a kart track, but there we go. That is a bird's eye view. That's a picture. So now we are going to have a look at some actual footage. This is Suzanne racing in the Junior TKM Super 1 Round 1 Shenington Final 2. And yeah, so Suze is a very good driver. She knows her stuff, and when it comes to sort of learning new stuff, she would be my first port of call. That's why I'm using this, not actual Club 100 footage, although I will look at that in a bit. I would also highly recommend, I'll just come out again, move myself out of the way, Team Gutsold Racing. Be sure to give them a subscribe. Actually, Rich T, we've just beaten them in subscribers. Don't subscribe to them. Don't do that. Anyway, let's get back to actually watching some footage, shall we? Let's see if we can find some open racing. So this might give us a better idea. We'll wait to see when we come through the start finish straight. I think we're at the bit that looked like Lid at the moment. Such a long open track. My word. Completely flat through sort of the final corner section until you just basically see the corner. So now, okay, so here we go. Lap of Shenington Park, coming out to the right of the very wide main straight. Flat out for as long as possible till you get to the curb. And it's basically when you get the kart straight, that's when you brake. A lot of run out coming through the second corner, as I predicted, flat through there. Let's see, are we going to be using, we're using the first hairpin, late braking, looks like there is an awful lot of run out there, so late braking early on the throttle, now coming down the second back straight, flat through the right hander, braking sharply for the left, and then flat out through the right. So now we're coming down to where we picked up the footage just then, flat through there, and it's basically once you get to that curb, you start braking. That looks a lot like Spoon from GYG, which is good to see because I sort of know that corner. They're actually very difficult to get right. So yeah, it's as soon as you get to that white line, that's where she was braking. Obviously in the junior TKM, we'll see some Club 100 in a moment. Just want to see where's the braking point. Marshall post for the braking. You see it squirreling under braking. So she's literally braking as late as possible. Get through the corner, brake, come out wide. This is all stuff that I know, like come out wide, cut in, take a decent apex. But yeah, it's just good to see. Again, this is a track I've never been to before, so it's just all very interesting to see. And this pit straight is so wide. There will be at least 5 wide at some point during the race on Saturday. But yeah, so white line for braking into that part. Into the first corner, or second corner even I should say, and we'll just check again the Marshall post. Yeah, Marshall post there, flick in, clip the apex, get on the power early, get on the power by the apex from the looks of things, and then head on your way down the main straight. Just as you sort of finish turning in for the right hander, that's where you brake there. That's when you brake for the left hander, coming out through this long right hander. And it's again, I think that's something you'll be able to see, or I'll be able to see even going into the actual, when I'm actually there, that you'll be able to see the braking point for that corner there, for the last corner, so to say. So that's Suze in the junior TKM, and I think what we're going to do now, we're going to find some Club 100 footage, shall we? It's interesting how much slower it looks than the TKM. That's because it is, but... So grip in the Club 100 might be a bit worse than it looked in the TKM. Same basic principle, just slower, and grip might not be there as much. Oh, bit of a risky one there, Stephen. It's so much slower. This boy trying to say, oh no, we got to go try and get him. And Steve's just like, nope. So yeah, so it's basically the same principle as in the junior TKM. We're looking for the correct apex. He's still looking over his shoulder massively, giving a massive psychological advantage to Super GT, and he just sends it down the inside. He was trying desperately to stop that from happening, saying, no, let's go work together. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So coming through here. Yeah, so it's once he's got his turning done, that's when he brakes. So it's like his wheels are straight, brake, flick in, dip down here. Right, where's he braking for this one? This is the corner I might struggle with. He's coming out wider. That's interesting. He's coming out a lot wider than Suze was. Much wider than Suze was. Look how wide that straight is. He's coming out very wide for this first corner. Yeah, white line for the braking, flick in, back on the power. You've got loads of runoff there. So again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Wide track, just before the Marshall post in the Club 100. So the brake's not quite as good there. Chasing down this man in front. This man with a white helmet in front. I'm just double checking here. Yeah, but just before that Marshall post, and basically when your wheels, or when your steering wheel is pointing in a straight line. As far as I'm concerned, that is sort of the nuts and bolts of Shenington Park from the looks of it. It doesn't look like the most overly complicated track in the history of mankind. It looks like it's got about 10 corners, and most of them are... It looks a bit simple. The famous last words, but that looks all right. That looks nowhere near as bad as I thought it might be. I'm going to struggle on the straights. That is obvious. But so I've not got anything in front of me right now. So let's see. So we've got start, finish straight, coming in left-hander, keep out wide, cut in. As soon as the curb changes from curb to white line, brake, flick in, get back on the power early so that you can be as fast down the straight as possible. You've got loads of runoff for turn 3. And then what we want to do, then braking just before the marshal post, or as near to the marshal post as I dare, into the hairpin, flick in, get on the power at the apex, loads of runoff, head down the second, or the next big straight, flick in for the right hander. As soon as your steering wheel is pointing straight, brake for the left-hander, flick in, get it back on the power, back down the next main straight. Then you've got the sort of the what looks to be the most difficult corner on the track. Suze was staying tight for all of it. Alvarez Brown was coming out wide. We'll see what happens there. I sort of quite like the idea of sticking in, because that reminds me of Spoon from GYG, but it could be that going up wide will give me a better lap time. So we'll see what happens. There is qualifying for the race on Saturday. So I think for the race I'll go out wide. Sorry, for qualifying I'll stay out wide. For the race I might cut in a bit more. And then it's just a case of getting back on the power as early as possible. That's what I've understood from that, because there are a load of long straights. And as I said, I'm a heavy bastard, so I will need to compensate for that. But that has been a track guide, so to speak, for Shenington, but also a way of showing you how watching footage, making sure you're as informed as possible going into a new race weekend can hopefully help you do much better. All of this will be made redundant if on Saturday I absolutely bomb and come last. I hope that doesn't happen, but you never know. Again, heavy bastard. But anyway, guys, that has been another edition of Rich T Racing. It's fantastic to be actually actively doing some new karting videos. The Shenington video will be out as soon as it possibly can on Saturday. It could be out on Saturday, Sunday more likely, Monday at the latest. But if you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And all I should say for now is ta-ta and farewell.